Get ready to drop the puck, take a free throw, and step up to the plate. It's time for the Metro East Sports Podcast on lineupmedia.fm.
From the Lineup Media Studios, welcome to the Metro East Sports Podcast, season number 2, show number 34, recorded Monday, September 27th, 2021. Thanks, as always, to partners Cassens, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, Callaway Home Loans, Keller Williams Marquee, Jeb and Ginger Blassingame, Integrity Spine and Joint Center, and Front Office Fiduciary Network. We're talking all things sports in the Metro East. I am Dave Leip. As always, the guests make the show. Guest number 1, right across me right now, Darien Jacobs, Belleville West girls lacrosse coach. Guest number 2, after Coach Jacobs, Emma Garner, EHS volleyball star and sports and lit student. And guest number 3 tonight is Colton Rhodes, the only undefeated football coach in the 618 is Colton Rhodes from Collinsville High School. I cannot wait to hear how Coach Rhodes has turned that program around, what's going on there in Collinsville. There's something going on there, man. It's pretty special. 3 things you can do to help. Number 1, subscribe to our podcast. You love it. It's free. Subscribe. Number 2, follow us on all of our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, as the kids say, the gram. And if you have a story idea, email me at mespdave@gmail.com. Got an awesome email tonight from Paul Johns, middle school basketball and baseball coach. He gave me a tremendous idea that I'm going to start working on tonight for a show. So thank you, Coach Johns. And don't forget about our new feature, Integrity Spine and Joint Center Team of the Month. Could be a park and rec team, could be a middle school team, a high school team, you name it. To nominate a team of the month, send your suggestion to mespdave@gmail.com. Please put Team of the Month in the subject line. Remember, congratulations to Belleville East Girls Tennis, which was the Team of the Month for last month. Who will it be for this month? Let's see. Only the voters, only the listeners know. Let's get to guest number 1. Welcome to the show from Belleville West Girls Lacrosse, Coach Darien Jacobs. Give me one of these.
Hey. How's it going?
Good to see you. Thanks for making the trip.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay. So you are currently the head girls lacrosse coach and also your bio says health educator at West.
That is correct. Absolutely true.
So how long you been there?
This is my 4th year at Belleville West.
And how long? Let's go through your history, Coach. Where are you from? What sports did you play growing up?
All right. So, born up in Naperville, Illinois. At the age of 6, we moved down to O'Fallon, Illinois, which is where I spent the majority or all of my pretty much childhood.
Air Force move?
Air Force move. Yep. Dad was in the Air Force. Our base moved down to Scott Air Force Base. We landed in O'Fallon, Illinois. That's where I went to elementary school, middle school, and high school. In high school, I played basketball. That was the only sport I played, and that was looking back, a big mistake because if you look at me, I'm 5'6", 5'7" with the right pair of shoes on. So I mean, I had no future in that. But I played basketball. Then I went on to college. I mean, essentially,
where'd you go?
I went to Illinois State University.
Okay. So how did you get into lacrosse?
People always laugh when I tell them because it's not a unique. It's not a unique story. I just started. I was in a frat. I mean, I usually tell people that, and just in intramurals, we played lacrosse and just passing the stick around or passing the ball around with our sticks in the backyard.
And you fell in love with it.
I did. I really did. I was like, man, I wish I would have played this in high school.
You know what's funny? I had Tom Pyle in here, Hall of Fame baseball coach, undeniably one of the most impactful coaches in the history of the area, and he wasn't even a baseball player. I mean, if you love the sport, you can learn the game if you want to coach it. So you just played intramural lacrosse, and you're like, man, I love this game. So then you decide you want to be a health educator, and I want to coach lacrosse.
Yeah. I mean, I coach basketball too, but I mean, lacrosse is the main sport I coach, and I've been doing it since 2017 and been loving it ever since.
That's cool. You know who else was a good lacrosse player? Club lacrosse in college. Coach Scott Battis, athletic director at Muscuda.
Really?
He played lacrosse at Northern Illinois University on the club team.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
He taught at Edwardsville for a while, and I told him, I said, man, you should be because he was coaching football with Tim Doherty at the time, and I said, you should be the Tim Doherty of lacrosse at Edwardsville. And he was like, hey, no, I'm going to be a football coach. And I thought, okay, cool.
That's actually interesting. I did not know that.
You know him?
I know who he is, and I know about Muscuda and their athletic program. And people ask me all the time, like, who do you think the next school to get lacrosse is? And I always say, I think Muscuda. And now knowing that Scott has a little lacrosse background.
A lot of background.
Yeah. I see it popping up in Muscuda within the next 5 years.
Okay, so you've been at West for 4 years.
Yes.
And you've been coaching girls lacrosse that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you start the program at West, or did you take it over?
So before I got there, it was a club program, so it was not school affiliated. Okay. My first year there was our first year going IHSA. So I'm the first official Belleville West High School girls lacrosse coach.
Okay, and who do you play? I looked at your schedule from last year. You play Holt, Parkway South, Hazelwood West. So you obviously play quite a few St. Louis schools. And then you're playing a lot of Northern Illinois schools. You're playing Vernon Hills. You're playing Middle Illinois, Normal West, Washington, Illinois. And then at the end of your season, you took a trip to Chicago and you played Hersey, Palatine, and Sandburg. Mm-hmm. So you're really playing teams from all over the place.
We are. And this year, we're going to travel up north a few more times just because we're in a weird situation where, we're playing in a St. Louis league because of our location, but we're in Illinois. So in order to properly get our rankings in Illinois and to get our players recognized, because we have some players that need to be recognized, we have to go up there and play the competition.
Okay. So you're not playing in an Illinois sectional, and you're not playing in an Illinois sectional.
There we are.
Oh, you are playing in an Illinois sectional.
Yep.
Okay, so was Hersey the first round of the sectional last year?
No, Sandburg was.
Okay. Sandburg was your first playoff game.
Yes.
Okay. And you think you're going to continue to do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So St. Louis Conference, but playoffs in the state of Illinois.
Exactly.
Okay. At Edwardsville High School, we have field hockey.
Right.
And field hockey plays in a St. Louis Conference, but also a St. Louis State playoff series.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay. And
I'm not sure why, because I'm pretty sure that field hockey is an IHSA sport also.
It is.
So I don't, I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying that's what they do.
Well, I know, and with lacrosse, it's pretty, I do want to say loose, because I'm on the athletic or the girls lacrosse advisory committee for IHSA.
No kidding.
Yes, and if we wanted to, I could say to them, hey, because of our location, we would like to play in the Missouri State tournament too, because their tournament is locally based because the teams that are playing in it are just the St. Louis teams. So if we really wanted to, and we almost got to that point last season when the travel restrictions were put in place, we were actually going to play in the MSLA tournament, or we were going to ask to play in it. So.
And you think that they would have been okay with that?
Yes.
Wow. I'm not sure.
I'm not.
Why do you think they would have said okay?
Well, because, and we talk all the time at our meetings. Why do you think MSLA would say okay?
Yeah, I don't know why the IHSA would say, yeah, go ahead and play in that state, and then come play in our state also.
Well, that's only if the restrictions were in place.
Okay, yeah. If the restrictions were in place, then I don't think they would have cared, maybe. But yeah, you never know.
You never know.
And I'm not gonna question them. How's your experience been on the advisory board? And for our listeners who aren't sure what that is, the IHSA for every sport has a board which, like the title implies, advises them on policies regarding their sport. And that board is always made up of principals, athletic directors, and coaches in the sport. So that's quite an honor for you as a young man, a young coach who's only been at it for a few years to have that type of recognition and responsibility. So good for you. How have you found that experience?
I think it's been great. It's been It's been a position that I've been put in to also help put our new program on the map, put Southern Illinois on the map. It's been between being on the Girls Lacrosse Advisory Board and getting the coaches spotlight last year. It's just I've had a lot of ties and connections with IHSA in the past year, and as a new coach, I think that is very, very important.
That's cool. That's cool. You jumped right in with both feet.
I did.
How are your numbers? Are you getting a lot of girls to try the sport?
Surprisingly, yes. At least in my opinion, I think there's a lot. So my first year, that COVID year, we actually had 51 girls in the program, which is amazing.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Last year, due to COVID and just due to coaching manpower, I didn't recruit as heavily, and so we had about 37 girls in the program, which is still, to be honest, pretty good.
Yeah.
For a new program, new school, and not lacrosse area yet. So that's still really good. And right now, I think our numbers are going to go up. I currently have 23 freshmen signed up.
What?
Yeah, I know. Well, okay, so I'm the freshman health teacher, so I see all these people. They come through my classroom, so it's kind of easy to recruit in a way.
That's cool. So right now you're fielding a JV and a varsity team at West, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and I noticed that you have 2 assistant coaches.
Yes.
Okay, and last year you played in May and June.
Yep.
When will be the girls' season this year?
All right, so we're going to start officially February 28th.
Okay.
And then we're going to open up on March 14th against O'Fallon.
Is that your big rival?
Well, yeah, we're only the other team down here, so
Okay.
by default.
East doesn't. I thought East had a team also.
Actually, we're a co-op right now, so it's Belleville West featuring East. Like we have,
Okay.
but we only have right now currently 3 girls from East.
Okay.
So everything's Belleville West, and those 3 girls will come over to West to our practices and everything. So that's how
Okay.
it's set up right now.
So the only 2 teams, the only 2 girls lacrosse teams in the area are O'Fallon and West is a co-op. See, I thought there were the 3 teams. I thought East had it also.
We'll split either after this season or after the 2023 season.
Okay.
So that's coming. East will have their own team.
Okay, so we had Sam Fleming in here along with Jenna Holder, who's a player. Jenna reached out to me, and she got your contact for me also. I don't know if you know Jenna.
Yep.
But Jenna plays for Glen Ed,
Yes.
not Styx,
No.
STYX.
Yep.
And Sam coaches, I think, in both programs. So there's Glen Ed lacrosse. There's Styx, which is in Belleville, right?
O'Fallon.
O'Fallon. What are the other junior lacrosse programs that are, I guess, feeding the high school programs?
So right now, obviously you have Styx, well-established program in O'Fallon, just a well-established lacrosse community. Glen Ed, just girls-wise, is just getting started up. They're starting to feed a program too, and that's getting started up. And I last year started a feeder program in the Belleville area. So right now, Metro East Legacy, the old soccer program, or soccer club, they merged with O'Fallon Kicks, and so I reached out to them and said that I wanted to form a lacrosse branch of their club, and they kind of were like, well, good, because we're actually getting rid of the Legacy name, or we're moving on, so you can have it. So now Metro East Legacy, that is a youth girls lacrosse program.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That worked out well for you.
It worked out. Yeah, I was like, why is this so easy? I literally went to the
Yeah.
first board meeting, and I was like, hey, this is what I would like to do. And they're like, you got it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird when things work out that well. So
Yeah.
how many kids did you have involved in that youth program?
I got about 8. So it's just getting started out. And really what it is it's some 12U, and they're girls from Millstadt, and 1 from Belleville. So I'm trying to branch out. We held a camp, and there were some girls from Mascoutah that came to it, which is why I think Mascoutah will be the next place to get lacrosse, in my opinion. But right now we're starting small. Like with anything, when you start out a business, it's small, especially with a sport like lacrosse. So I'm actually very, very blessed to have a solid group of 8 girls.
Let's talk about the sport of lacrosse in general. How would you describe the sport to people who don't have a lot of experience with it? And let me be more specific. What kind of kid should play lacrosse? A kid who likes to run, a kid who likes to hit other kids, a kid with good eye hand. What are you looking for?
To be honest, I mean, any player, any type of component, because you just named a few things, can make a good lacrosse player. So if you like to run, yes, that's what I look for, at least in a lacrosse player. So I look for someone who likes to run. Athleticism is big in lacrosse too. Hand-eye coordination falls under athleticism. So obviously those are the things, and any coach would say that though, someone who is conditioned and who is athletic. But at the same time, I'm also looking for girls who want to play the sport. And I've had players excel who aren't the best athletes. They're not the biggest. They don't have the best coordination, the best footwork, but they've actually excelled just through hard work. And that's one of the blessings of playing lacrosse, is that you can start in high school, work your butt off, and become a good player.
And you've got some good players there. One of them played tennis against our team last week. She plays #1 singles at Belleville West, Mari Pellman.
Oh, yes.
And Jenny Menerick, her fantastic coach there at West, told me that Mari has just started playing lacrosse. And I looked at your stats, and she was the #2 scorer on your team last year. So just in a few short months, this girl has gone from a beginner, basically, to a fantastic player. Talk about Mari Pellman for a second.
It's in the stats. I mean, what is there? She picked up the stick, and she has just excelled ever since. I mean, she has just gone straight forward and progressed. And it's been amazing seeing her progression. And she's a gifted athlete already, so it was kind of easier for her to kind of pick it up. But what she was able to do for us last season, she exceeded expectations, making the all-sectional team, making second team all-metro in her first year playing lacrosse, basically being one of the leaders on our team, leading the area in ground balls.
What's a ground ball?
You scoop the ball off the ground with your stick.
Okay, so it's like a turnover?
It's the ball,
picking up the ball
with your stick,
Gotcha.
which is very big because ground ball possessions win games, get you possession. Win the ground ball battle, you win the game. And so Mari,
boom,
with her speed and athleticism, she kind of excelled in that, and now she's gonna play college lacrosse, and there are some really good schools looking at her.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about right there. So I see Mari Pellman had 30 goals on 48 shots. 3 assists. She's a shooter.
Well,
we're gonna work into the passing game here a little bit.
Well, we got some passers. I mean, we got girls who can dish out assists. So
Alora McCloskey.
Yes, Alora McCloskey. Our best passer. She can thread the needle. She really can.
19 assists, 23 goals. But your leading scorer was Mackenzie Tavares.
Yes.
Fantastic player, huh?
Yeah, I mean, she when Reese Bennett went out, she stepped up, and not only did she step up with scoring, she also stepped up with taking the draw, which is essentially how the game is started. She stepped up in a big way, and to the point where she got All-State honorable mention.
Great
recognition. I mean, and that's very big for a new varsity program in Southern Illinois to have a player make it to that level. So that just tells you right there the kind of player that she is. I don't know what else to be said about her. I mean, she's watching her play, and even going back and watching her film. Tavares has. Well, I'm just in awe sometimes. I'm like, how did you score that, or how'd you get around that player? There are 3 girls on you. How'd you score on them still?
When did she start playing?
She started playing her freshman year. So all the girls started playing.
Is she back this year?
Oh, she's coming back. Yeah.
Okay. So she's a senior this year?
She's going to be a senior, yes.
Okay. What was your score? Because I didn't see a score online for O'Fallon last year. What did you play them last year? You had to have.
This past season?
Yeah.
It was 11-8, if I remember correctly.
Okay, because that wasn't on your record here on STL Sports.
Really?
Nope, I don't think so. Let me look again. There it is. Yep. You won that one 11-8. Yes, you did. Congratulations. That was a big one, but they're going to be shooting for you this year, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a natural rivalry.
It is.
You're the only 2 local teams to play. That's got to make it a huge contest every year, right?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, especially since I went to O'Fallon, so it's even bigger for me, and I'm just blessed to be in a position to play against my school, or my old school, and it's good to see they have a really good program. So when we won, I was kind of like, nice in a way. I was like, nice, because I saw that program actually grow from when I was there, and I know how good of a program that is, and just the work ethic that they put in at O'Fallon. So obviously coming from there and knowing about the lacrosse program, that was a good win for us.
Is it safe to say that one of your goals is to see lacrosse become a sport across the board in the Southwestern Conference?
Absolutely, yes.
And do you see other teams in the conference adding lacrosse in the near future? Have you had any conversations with other schools about that?
Yes. So you kind of mentioned Glen Ed earlier. Edwardsville is moving in that direction. From what I know, it sounds like that they're going to have a lacrosse club at the school now. So it won't be Glen Ed. It'll be Edwardsville Lacrosse, but there'll be a club team. So they won't be IHSA. So they're going to participate in our MSLA, Missouri League, but they won't be an IHSA recognized team. And so really what that means is that we can play them at the JV level, but at the varsity level, we can't play them yet until they become an official IHSA sport.
You can't play them, or you can't play them and count it toward a varsity match. I mean, it seems like you should be able to play them. You just can't count it as an official varsity contest.
We can't play them.
Can't play them.
Yeah, we can't play them. JV can though.
All right. Before you get out of here, I got to ask you, what type of girl wants to be a lacrosse goalie? I mean, I watch that ball and I think, oh my gosh, there's no way I'd want to do that. But there's always a kid that just says, put me out there, coach. I want to knock that ball down.
That's exactly the type of girl that wants to be a lacrosse goalie. The kind that's like, we joke about this all the time. Lacrosse coaches say this, but the girl who is, not all there upstairs, essentially.
It's got to be a little bit crazy to want to have that job, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you do. And it's a tough job. And I always say I treat my goalies like royalty, because if you step in that cage and you're willing to take a hit, I got a lot of respect for that, because I know I wouldn't do that. So again,
tough way to earn a varsity letter right there, being the lacrosse goalie. But I respect that, and I think lacrosse is a cool sport. I love, you and I chatted a little bit about it off air about the connection to the Native Americans and it being the official sport of Native America, and it's the official sport of Canada, not hockey, lacrosse. It's the only sport in which Native America has competed as a nation against, the other countries in this world. And the stories about the Native Americans carving their own sticks and the spiritual aspects of that, I think all that stuff is cool too. So good on you. I'm happy that lacrosse is growing in the area. I think it's cool. I want to get out and watch that game. Maybe when you play O'Fallon and West, you got to come up with a name for that, some kind of cup or something.
Okay, I mean that's
the Metro Esports Podcast Cup.
Let's do it. All right, there it is. That was simple. All right, and I'm sure they'll be down.
Yeah, let's get you and the O'Fallon coach. Who is it?
Alex Printable. Great guy.
Let's get you and Alex in here to hype up that game beforehand, and I'll come up with a cup if you guys want me to.
All right, let's do it.
And we'll put it out there for you, the Metro Esports Podcast Cup. We got to make sure all the ADs are okay with this too, but that'll be fun. And I appreciate your enthusiasm for wanting to get this going. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that you jumped in there and you took over this program and you're putting your heart and soul into it. And you're working with the IHSA and you're taking these girls all over the state. And it kind of reminds me of some stuff that I did once upon a time when I first started, and some stuff that I continue to do to this day. So have a fun day tomorrow. How many PE classes do you teach in a typical day?
I'm just strictly a health teacher.
Oh,
and I teach 5 straight classes of health.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, so it's I minored in PE, so I can teach PE. Okay. I've taught PE, but health is what I teach right now.
Perfect. All right, Coach Darien Jacobs, Belleville West girls lacrosse. Thanks so much for coming by, and I'll see you again right before that game with O'Fallon.
All right, let's talk about it. I'll see you.
See ya.
Thanks for having me.